and welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are so excited to be introducing to you our spring basket add-on fall, its coordinating dies, and its coordinating coloring stencils. This stamp set is the perfect addition to our spring basket set. It gives you all of these cute fall images that you can add into your basket, and you can also use it with the reveal wheel too. This is our brand new Henry's Build a Sentiment Fall. You can build the cutest fall sentiments and mix and match it with all of your previous Henry's sets. And then this is our fall leaves border. This border is so gorgeous, and I love that it comes with individual leaves too. So let's go ahead and check everything out. This is the spring basket add-on fall, and it has the cutest little fall things you can put in the basket. It has a group of mushrooms, some squashes and gourds. Then we have this cute little mixture of corn, apple, and pumpkin, and then this little one that has the happy fall sign that is so sweet. We also have a cute little snail and a little card that says many thanks that you can use to help set the scene. We also have some mix and match sentiments. So we have thank you, then we have the word fall, and we have the word harvest. And that's because we're able to combine these with the previous set. Oh, and of course, an exclamation point to add to the end of your phrases. So here is the spring basket set, and you have the word happy there. And so now you can combine happy harvest or happy fall. And we also have happy spring and happy Easter and happy Mother's Day. So I love that you can create all these cool different phrases. You can also mix and match any of these elements in your reveal wheel. So you could use some of the flowers from the spring set and combine it with some of the fall images from this set. Now here I've stamped out the basket from the spring basket stamp set, and here I'm going to go ahead and stamp one of those fall images directly into the basket, and I think this looks so cute. This is one of the ways of using the set. The other way is to use it with the reveal wheel, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. But look at that basket. Oh my gosh, I just love it. Now we're going to be adding some color to these fun images. And I'm going to be using my Copic markers, but you could use watercolors, you could use colored pencils, you could use any kind of markers in your stash, and you can also use the coloring stencils. And I'll show you that in just a little bit. I absolutely love coloring in these fall images. They are just so sweet and cute. They look really, really adorable in the basket. They're so much fun in the reveal wheel, but I've also been using these images as fun little scene builders on other little fall scenes. So you could use those mushrooms on a cute little fall card as well. So I love that you can really use these in all sorts of different and cool ways. I also love that this takes the spring basket stamp set and brings it into fall. And this was a suggestion that you guys wrote in with to create other items to be able to put in the basket. And I think it is such a cool idea. And these fall images are just so sweet. And like I showed you earlier, you can stamp them directly in the basket, or you can also layer them with die cuts. I'll show you that in a bit. Or you can use it with the reveal wheel. And if you have never used the spring basket stamp set before, make sure to check out the intro video. We will link it in the description below. I absolutely love coloring in these images. I love all of the fall colors. They just look so beautiful together, and it's so fun to find those warm colors and mix them, match them together. I'm adding a little brown for the sign and then some gold and yellow on that leaf, which is just so pretty for fall. Then for this cute little snail, I'm going to bring in some pops of color that kind of match some of the other elements. So that bluish color came from the squash and the brown came from the sign. So I think that's really cute too. And then for the basket, I'm going to use some E40 markers because that's a little bit different than the browns. I used the E30s on the sign. And I think the E40s look really pretty on the basket to give it that fall feel. And then for the ribbon, I'm going to add a little warm gray marker just to give it a little bit of shadow. And oh my goodness, I love that basket so much. It's just so cute. And now that we've used some markers, we're going to take a look at the coloring stencils. And these stencils are a set of 3 stencils, and we've sized them to be the same size of the stamp set so that they're really easy to store together. And all you need to do with the coloring stencil is find your image, line it up, the opening there, and then you can go ahead and just add a little bit of ink. And then you'll work your way down the stencil, lining up all of the different parts of the cute image. There are etched guidelines on the stencil that make it super easy to line up with your stamped image, and I just love doing this so much. There's something about working my way down the stencil and filling in each part that is just so much fun. I'm coloring this similar to the way that we colored the one with markers. So I'm doing the yellow golden leaf and the orange pumpkin and the brown sign, and I'm just using one color of ink for each part and just adding a little bit of shadow by just having a little bit of extra ink on one side and a little bit of less on the other, and it makes it look so beautiful. Now these are the coordinating dies for the stamp set, and all you need to do is line them up with your stamp image, you run it through your die cut machine, and you'll have perfectly cut out images every time. Now you'll see at the bottom of these images there's this little white space, and you may be wondering, what is that for? Well, that is to make it easier to line up in your basket. So you can add your adhesive on that white space and then tuck it behind the basket. So I'm going to show you some different ways to do that. You can stamp in the basket as we have done here. So you can stamp directly in the basket, and there's a die that's going to cut out the basket, so it's going to look just like that. And of course, just like we did before, we can hold it in place with some low-tack tape and then run that through the die cut machine. And that's our brand new Silly Goose washi tape. I love using it to hold down the dies because it just makes me smile. Now, for the other basket, another way to use it is to cut out the center. And so that's what we're going to do on this basket on the left. And this die is included in the coordinating die for the spring basket as well. And so you're just going to line up that die on the inside of the basket and hold it in place. And then we'll run that through the die cut machine. And that's going to give us a basket with an opening. And here you can see I have my cutest little helper Miles helping me film the video. Now here you can take the images and add a little adhesive on that white part and then tuck it into your basket like that. So it's just two different looks. You can stamp directly in the basket and die cut it that way, or you can cut the opening out and then fit your different images into the basket. And I think both ways are super cute. It just depends on the look that you're going for in your card. I also really love the look of taking that cute little card that says many thanks and that adorable little snail and layering it around the basket to kind of help set the scene. It just looks adorable. Now we're going to take a look at the Henry's Build a Sentiment Fall Stamp Set. We have quite a few Henry's Build a Sentiment set, and what they are is they are sentiment sets that have mix and match images that you can create your cute own custom phrases. The other really cool thing about Henry's is that you can mix and match the different sets together. All of the images have the same size rectangular base, and the natural cling of the clear stamps helps them stick together just like that to be able to create different phrases. You can create long phrases, you can stack them, you can make them custom to be perfect for your card. So here we've created a long phrase, or we could take that same phrase and stack the different images in the way that's going to be perfect to fit on whatever your design is. I also love that you can take the other sets and combine them together. For example, we have Henry's Build a Sentiment Family, and you can make a sentiment and then stamp granddaughter afterwards, or mother-in-law, or all of the other different phrases that we have. So it's really fun to be able to mix and match them. I also like using my grid mat like this to help me line up my stacked sentiments so that everything is nice and even. Now, once you have everything lined up, then you can take your acrylic block and just pick up your phrase. I really like building it on my work surface and then picking it up with my block. I think it's easier to stick them together and keep them all even. And then now we can go ahead and stamp out our phrase, and you'll see how cute this is. It says, "May your autumn be gorgeous." And there are so many cute and different phrases that are perfect for fall, for Thanksgiving, and for Halloween in this set. And this is just a sampling of some of those phrases. We have like wishing you a spooky Halloween, or you autumn know I'm thankful for you. We also have Happy Turkey Day, or may your Thanksgiving be stuffed with gratitude and love. So these fun phrases are just adorable, and I can't wait to see all the fun mix and match things that you are going to create with this sentiment set too. Now here is our fall leaves border set. I am in love with this set. It has the beautiful border, and then it has 3 styles of individual leaves, which you can use on their own, or you can take the leaves and layer them onto the border. So you could use the border just cut out of cardstock or pattern paper just like that, or you can take these individual leaves and layer them on top, and both looks are absolutely gorgeous. It's fun to layer the different leaves because then you can kind of have this almost like a rainbow of fall leaves onto your card, which looks really cute. I also love the stitching details on these little leaves. I've been using this border a lot, and I've also been using the individual leaves on cards to kind of have some falling leaves into my sky, which is a really fun way to use the pieces included in this border too. And now the border is all done, and look how gorgeous that is. Oh my gosh, I just love it. And now that we've taken a look at all of these new items, we are going to start creating with them, and we're going to be making a reveal wheel. And so first thing I'm going to do is take out my spring basket stamp set and then my new fall add-on. And I'm going to need these items to be able to create my reveal wheel. So I've stamped and die cut a basket here with the opening out of it, because you definitely need to cut the opening out to create your reveal wheel. And then I'm going to put my fall add-on set aside because we're going to be stamping those images onto our wheel. Now I keep everything in my pocket. I have my stamp set, I have my coloring stencil, I also have my reveal wheel templates and my different reveal wheel little insert pieces. And so the next thing I need is my reveal wheel. So I'm going to be using the original reveal wheel here in this rectangle shape. And then we need to pick which style of window we want to use with the basket. There is the normal style, and then there is a drop down style. And this is what it looks like. So the normal one has the basket higher up on your card, and the drop down helps you bring it lower down to your card. And this is all part of the original spring basket stamp set that came out earlier this year. And again, if you've never played with this stamp set, make sure to check out the intro video. We'll link it in the description below. So I wonder, what design is going to be good for mine? And so that's what I like to do. I like to take a look at these different ones and kind of play around with it before I decide exactly how I'm going to do it. So here we're going to go ahead and take the original one, which is going to have the basket higher up on the card. And so I like to just pop that right into that puzzle piece opening of the reveal wheel and then put my basket there and go, okay, that's cute, but I kind of think I want it lower down because I want to use some of those die cut fall leaves up in the sky. So here's my drop down. It has this cool little template piece that fits into that puzzle piece opening. Then it has the window and it brings the basket down this way. And I really like that. So that's the one we're going to use. These are my little reveal wheel templates, and you'll see they have the etched guidelines that say spring basket or spring basket drop down. So I know I need the drop down one, so I'm going to put that one aside, and then I can put everything else back in the pocket. Now I have that little template that I fit into the puzzle piece opening of the reveal wheel. I'm going to use some low-tack tape to hold my reveal wheel in place, and then I'm going to take that window, I'm going to butt it up against that stencil template, just like that, and it'll fit right into that, and then I can use my tape to hold it in place. I'll then remove that template and run the whole thing through the die cut machine, and that's going to give me a reveal wheel with that opening and the perfect placement. Now the next thing I want to do is add some color onto this. And so I'm going to have the cute little basket here, and then kind of as my ground, I'm going to use that fall leaf border. And so here I'm just layering everything to kind of see where I can do some inking. And I'm going to use the inking to be my grass and my sky. And so for the grass here, I am using some celery stick ink. And then for the sky, I'm going to use some kiddie pool ink. And this sky here that I'm creating, or this whole card layout, was inspired by a card by Tammy. So thank you so much, Tammy. And what's really cute about Tammy's card is that it wasn't a reveal wheel card. It was just a normal card with the spring basket. And I decided to use the idea and turn it into a reveal wheel. So it's fun to get inspired by your friends like that to create cards and just kind of change it up just a little bit. Now that we've added our green and our blue, I'm going to cover up the green area just with a piece of scratch paper here. I save my printouts and things and then reuse them for inking and stuff like this. I'm going to take that kiddie pool ink and I'm smearing it onto an acrylic block. I'm going to spray just a little bit of water on there, and then I'm going to mix the water with the ink with my paintbrush and pick it up to create some splatters. And we're just going to splatter that in the sky to create some really pretty texture for our background. And I think that's looking really nice there. There's something about the splatters that just makes it look so pretty. Okay, so now I have my whole reveal wheel piece. I have that super cute basket, and now I need my reveal wheel elements. And so we're going to be taking out the big reveal wheel piece here because we need to decorate our actual wheel. And I love the reveal wheel because we have so many different little openings that fit in that puzzle piece that give you so many cool and different ways to use it. Now that wheel is going to be spinning on the inside of the basket, which lines up with that sky we created. So I am just going to create that same exact sky onto this little wheel. So I'm going to ink on just a little bit of that kiddie pool ink, and then I'm going to do some splatters. And you'll see I'll kind of layer it behind the window to see if it's starting to look right. And that looked pretty good. So now we're going to do the same technique with the splatters. We're going to smear our ink on an acrylic block, add a little bit of water with a spray bottle, and then pick it up with the paintbrush and just tap the paintbrush to create splatters all over the wheel. And now the wheel is going to match the background that we did, which is going to make it feel really seamless as we spin the wheel. Now the next thing we're going to do is take out one of these templates. Now you don't need the template. You can always kind of create little guidelines with a pencil and stamp, but the template makes it super easy, so I love to use them. And all you need to do is just line it up with the wheel. It's the same exact size as the wheel, and then just use some low-tack tape to hold it in place. Now here's where we're going to bring in our fall elements. And that's what I love about this. So we could have used the spring ones, but now we're going to switch it up and use the brand new fall ones. And so we picked 3 different images out and we're going to stamp them into those little openings. And so you can just stamp right over that, press down firmly, and then when you pick it up, it's going to be in perfect placement. And then I just like to spin the wheel and then pick another image to stamp and then lift it up, and you'll see that beautiful image that we're going to have in perfect placement. Now we'll spin the wheel again and we're going to stamp our last image. And I really love this one with the corn and the apple. Now that we have these all stamped in perfect placement, we can go ahead and remove that tape and remove the whole template. And now we're going to add some color to these images using markers again. And a lot of these are going to be similar to what we did earlier in the video, but I'm going to bring in some fun little pinks that are going to match some of the colors that Tammy used on her card that I wanted to use on mine too, since I'm being inspired by her card. And so we're just going to be adding these fun colors here. And then Miles was so excited to come help me. His coloring is getting so amazing. I am so proud of him, and he's learning how to blend the different markers together, and I just had to share his coloring. He's going to add color to the apple and also to the corn, and I think it's just so sweet, and it's so much fun to involve the kiddos in all of your fun crafty things because they just have such a blast. And so here you can see he's going to add the color to the corn. It just looks so awesome. I'm so proud of you, Miles. And so then I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of a darker yellow right along the little lines of the corn, and then some pink into those sprigs. Now the next thing that we need to do is make our reveal wheel. So we have our piece with the window that we inked up earlier. We have our wheel we stamped on. There is the small backer circle. There is that reveal wheel piece. We die cut it without the window opening. And then we also have some mini brads. So we're going to take out one of those brads and start to make our mechanism. So you're going to take the brad and put it up through this smaller backer circle, just like this. Then we're going to take this whole piece and we're going to put it up from behind the wheel that we stamped. So you'll see the flat part of the brad is going to be on the back of the wheel, and the prongs are going to open up on the front of the wheel. So there it looks like that. And then on the front, we can go ahead and open up the prongs, securing these pieces together. Then we can take this whole wheel and we're going to flip it over and look at the back. And you'll see that there's this little backer circle, and we're going to add our foam squares onto this circle around the brad, but not touching the brad. Then we can go ahead and peel up the liner paper on all of those foam squares so that the adhesive is exposed on these. Then the next thing we're going to do is take that wheel and we're going to line it up behind the window opening. And the nice thing here is because we use that template to have them in perfect placement, once you line up one of them, you know the rest of them are perfectly lined up. So once it looks nice in that opening, I can just hold that in place with my fingers, and then we're going to line it up on that plain base piece there that we have. So I'm just going to line up those corners there and then just kind of press down, and that's going to secure the wheel in place in perfect placement. And you can spin the wheel to make sure that everything lines up really nicely, and now you can see that it's doing that in such a great way. So we can pop the cover off, and now we're going to add our foam squares on to the base piece. And you want it around the wheel but not touching the wheel. I also like to add little foam squares right around that notch opening just to give it some nice support. And then now we can layer that window piece over top, and that has created our really cool reveal wheel mechanism. And how fun is that? I just love the reveal wheel. We've had it for so many years, and we can keep coming out with cool new little window openings for it that change it and make it feel so special and brand new again. So here I've die cut that fall leaves border and some of the individual fall leaves out of some white cardstock because I wanted to add color to these with my markers. And that's one of my favorite ways to use die cuts, is to die cut them from white cardstock and add color with my markers. I find it really, really relaxing. But other ways to add color is you could blend ink onto these. You could also die cut them out of pattern paper, which would be beautiful, or you could die cut them out of colors of cardstock and use plain cardstock, or if you wanted a little detail, you could ink blend just a little bit of a darker ink on the edge of each leaf, and that would look absolutely beautiful too. Now here I am using those colors that are inspired by Tammy's card, and so it's this beautiful oranges, deep yellows, then we've got a green, and then this really pretty pink. And so I went ahead and colored all of those leaves, and here, look at that pile of leaves. I just played with it like it was an actual pile of leaves. I think it's just so cute. And then the next thing we're going to do is layer these on to the backdrop. And so we're just going to add some liquid glue on each of the leaves and layer the different pieces on top. Now I don't need the outer leaves because this is a portrait style card, so we don't need the whole length of it, and that's okay because we'll just trim off any of the excess. And I just love how gorgeous this is with all of the leaves layered onto it. Now here is the moment where I realized something. I was like, oh no, I forgot to stamp my sentiment, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. So here we're going to take our Henry's Build a Sentiment Fall, and we're going to create a cute custom fall theme sentiment that's going to be perfect with this reveal wheel card. And so I'm just kind of looking around and picking out some different ones, and I really like the phrase "You Autumn Know." I think it's just so cute and sweet. And so we're going to do some stamping, and we're going to use the MISTI stamping tool to help us stamp over top of this. It's a little hard to stamp once you've added all of those foam squares and layered it. It would have been better to stamp the phrase onto the window opening before we layered it on top of the whole reveal wheel mechanism, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. So I'm layering my fall leaves border and the basket on there just to see exactly where my phrases are going to go. And then just like we talked about at the beginning, we're going to create this custom phrase with the Henry set by lining up our cool little pieces here. And you'll see they have the same size rectangular base and a natural cling that helps them stick together. Once we've put our whole phrase together, then we can layer it on to our piece here, and then we're going to pick it up with the door of the MISTI and have it in perfect placement so that we can stamp it multiple times, since it's going to be really hard to stamp over top of those foam squares. And so now you're going to see when I stamp that there's going to be these big gaps in what I stamp, and that's because of the foam squares that are there. But that's okay. I'm just going to go back in and press down really, really hard now and see how much I can get this thing to stamp. And then we're going to go ahead and just keep inking it up. And so this MISTI tool really came in and saved my little mistake. If for some reason you were worried about stamping or you couldn't quite get the stamping right because of the foam squares, if you made a mistake like mine, you could also just add a little banner on it, and that would look really cute too. So there's always a way to save your card, even if you do something silly like I did and forget to stamp your sentiment. And I was so excited that it actually worked. I was ready to add a banner, but look, it looks awesome. And so now we're going to start layering our other die cut pieces. So here I have some of the favorite flannel fall paper. It's our brand new fall paper, and it's so pretty. Here you can see all of the beautiful colors in it, and it has this rainbowy piece, and that's the one we're going to use here. And so we have a standard size card base that's 5.5 by 4.25, and we're just going to layer this really pretty piece of pattern paper over top of that. And then you can see how our reveal wheel is going to layer, and I love it with that beautiful plaid paper around it. Now we're going to add some tape runner to the back of the fall leaves, and we're just going to layer that behind the basket so that it becomes kind of like a little ground for the basket, like it's sitting in a bunch of fall leaves. And then we can go ahead and just trim off the excess of those pieces, and look how nice that looks. Now we're going to add some adhesive to the basket, and that basket is going to line up perfectly with the window opening of the reveal wheel. So I love that that's so easy to do. And now as we spin the wheel, you can change what's inside the basket, and I just think it's so cute. Now I'm going to flip the whole mechanism over, and I'm going to add some foam squares to the back of this. I like adding foam squares to the back of this piece because it makes it easier to get your finger in to be able to spin that wheel. Now the next thing we're going to do is add in some cute characters. So here is my Silly Goose stamp set, and I love these geese. I love that they work for so many year-round cards, and here we're going to be using them for a fall card, which is going to be so much fun. And so I'm just going to add some tape runner to these guys and layer them around my fall basket. So I love that you could use the fall basket on its own, or you could bring in your favorite characters and add them around the basket too. I think our mice would be really cute with this scene as well. Now here I wanted to add some fall leaves falling in the sky. So I had colored some extra ones I didn't need for my border. And so I'm just going to layer those into the sky and see what looks nice. And once I like the placement of them, I can just add some adhesive on the back of them and layer them onto the card. Then the reveal wheel die comes with this cool little die cut arrow, which you can add onto the card to show the recipient what to do. And so I die cut that from some white cardstock as well. And then I just use those same green markers so that everything's going to match really nicely to add to the arrow, because I thought that would make it nice and bold onto the card. And so then we'll just add some adhesive onto that, and then we can layer that on to the card base. And look how fun this is. I love that it takes the spring basket stamp set and that whole concept and brings it into fall, and it's just so beautiful with those cute fall images, and it's so much fun to spin this wheel. I just think it's just absolutely adorable, and I love mixing and matching it with the Henry's Build a Sentiment Fall too. I just think it's just so sweet and such a fun card to send to someone to make their day. Now, when I send cards, I really like using washi tape on the envelope, and I like to use a washi tape that kind of matches the card a little bit. And so that's what we're going to do here, is use one of our brand new washi tapes. And I have my helper Miles here, who loves spinning the reveal wheel. And then we're going to take that and put it in our envelope, and we're going to use some of our brand new tree line washi tape. And I love this washi tape. It's really cute on cards. I think it's really sweet for fall. I also think it's fun to use on cards as like a scene builder in the background. It could be a little tree line on your card. Isn't that so cute? And Miles was so happy because his favorite color, purple, was right in the middle of the card. And then of course when your recipient got the card, they could pop it open. They'll see this cute little line of fall trees, and then inside we'll have this adorable little card with the fun reveal wheel mechanism. So next up, Shari is going to show us how to use the fall basket add-on as a card without the reveal wheel. So take it away, Shari.
I am so excited to have some fall fillers for the spring basket. So I decided to take a spring basket card that I created before and make a new fall themed one. So this was a card that had 3 baskets across the front. So I've already colored my baskets and my new fall fillers from the spring basket fall stamp set. And I'm going to fill all 3 baskets with these fun fall items. I really love these mushrooms. I think they're so cute. I think that's a really fun idea in addition to the traditional pumpkins and apples and gourds and all that good stuff. I also love that cute little snail. For the sentiment on this card, I'm using the new Henry's Build a Sentiment Fall. This has some really great sentiments in it and some fun punny sentiments as well. I am building a sentiment that says, "May your day be beautiful," and I think that that is so cute and perfect for this sweet and simple card. I'm just stamping this in black ink on a little banner cut from vanilla malt cardstock. And then for the background, I'm using that favorite flannel fall. This is again my favorite collection. I'm using the apple cider and I'm using the 12 by 12 for a bigger plaid. And then I'm also using paper from the Falling Leaves collection. This was last year's fall collection, but these colors work great. And for those little leaves, I use these individual leaves from the fall leaves border die. These are great little embellishments to add around a card. So I have a lacy rectangle cut from kraft cardstock, and then I cut the coordinating stitch rectangle that fits inside of it from that falling leaves paper. That is from the petite paper pack. And then I'm adding this larger plaid to my card base. Now, before I put any of these rectangles together, I am going to add some twine. So I have some brown twine here. This is the latte color, and I am using 2 strands of it. What I'm going to do is wrap it around my card twice. I actually had to get a longer piece. I didn't cut it quite long enough. But I'm wrapping both of those around twice and then tying a bow. And I like the look of this because you get a thicker bow with the 2 strands of twine. So you get a double bow. Now I'm tying this and I'm not pulling it too tight yet. I want to check and it's a little too far over to the right. Sometimes I can shift it. This one I think needed to move a little too much. So I'm just untying it and retying the bow. And then once I have that in the right place, I'll just make sure it is looking the way I want and trim off those extra ends. Now I want to add some foam to this smaller rectangle so it is popped up off that background, and I like to put the foam at the top and the bottom and kind of leave a channel through the center where that twine is going to be so that that bulk of the twine has a place to go. Then I'll just center this up in the center of my plaid, and I just think this looks so perfect for fall. Next, I'm adding my sentiment banner along the bottom. I am using some foam squares for this, so it is popped up off of that peachy colored rectangle. And then I can add my baskets. Now for the baskets on the left and the right, I am just gluing these directly to the background, and I am gluing them a little bit higher than the top of the sentiment banner, as you can see here. I am going to come in with a white gel pen and add some details. I'm adding details to the ruffle on the baskets and some shine marks to the produce in our baskets, including those mushrooms. And then for this basket in the center, I'm using foam squares so it can be popped up. I use the thin foam strips and cut little pieces to put behind the handle of the basket so that the whole basket can be supported with foam. And then I will add this right in the center, and I'm moving it down a little bit so it looks like it's sitting on the sentiment banner. And I like how it overlaps those 2 baskets in the back, and you kind of get a basket in the foreground and the background. And of course we have the little snail that we're adding. I love taking those little critters and making them look like they are just scooting across the top of a sentiment banner. That's one of my favorite things to do. Now for those leaves, I cut from the Falling Leaves paper with the Fall Leaves border die. I'm just adding those around, tucking them in behind the sentiment banner and that lacy rectangle. And this is just a fun way to add some seasonal embellishments. So I'll just tuck these 2 behind that lacy rectangle, and I just think that looks really fun with them peeking out. And then of course we need to add our glitter. I added glitter to the snail shell, the leaves in all of the baskets, and then just to one side of the die cut pattern paper leaves. And then here is my finished card. I love how it turned out. It was so fun to make. I love those favorite flannel fall papers, and I love these new spring basket fall fillers for the basket. I just think they're so cute.
Oh my goodness, Shari, I am so in love with this card. It is the perfect fall card, and I love the trio of baskets too. And next up, we have some incredible cards by the design team. And this card by Grace is so beautiful. I love her fall colors and how she brought in our gnomes with the basket. It is such a cute mix and match. And as you spin her wheel, you get all of the cute little different fillers in there. I also love how she used the brand new scripty fall on her card. And oh my gosh, that color palette is just gorgeous. Now, this card here by Megan is so creative. She used our Build-A-Barrel die and she die cut a bunch of the fall basket fillers and layered them in the barrel for the cutest fall card. This card by Maureen is so sweet, and as you spin the wheel, you get all of the cute little different things in the basket that can be right there with those adorable porcupines. I love that these baskets mix so perfectly with some of your favorite critters for super cute cards. I love this card here by Elise. I love her 4 baskets and the sentiment in the center. It's so cute and such a fun way to use all 4 of the basket fillers. This card here by Audrey is so pretty. She used our Simply Celebrate hangouts with the little log, and she layered a bunch of the mushrooms behind it, and I think it is such a cute way to use this set. Next up is the card by Tammy that inspired us to make ours. I love how she used the basket at the bottom of the card with all of those cute leaves and the adorable mice. It's just so sweet. This card by Elena is so creative. She created a baby card with the Silly Goose stamp set. She added an egg into the basket and then used the mushrooms as a cute little decoration around the basket, and I think that is so much fun. This card by Lynette is adorable. I love her fall colors and the trio of baskets on the fall leaf border. And then this card here by Maureen is so pretty. I love how she used our heart tree for fall, and the basket in the center with the little snail on top is just so sweet. And then this card by Letitia is so much fun. I love how she added the Henry sentiment as the ground for the cute images. It's such a fun way to use the set without the basket. So we cannot wait to see all of your fall baskets, so make sure to share them with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and we hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!